Welcome to Gamercam Stories, full of intense collisions, police chases, and the worst drivers you've ever seen. Grab a snack, hit the like button, and enjoy the ride. Ben was driving to work, having a regular day ahead, but he wouldn't expect to experience an insane moment. Boom! Mark, who was 24 years old, got a brand new BMW M4 from his dad. He took it for a joyride with his friend. Mark was driving insanely fast, creating a big danger for himself, his friend, and other drivers. His fate came after a family in a minivan pulled out from the side road while Mark was overtaking a vehicle. Mark crashed head-on into the minivan, causing multiple injuries. One fatal, two heavily injured, and the rest were lightly injured. Mark and his friend were heavily injured since they didn't use seatbelts. The mother in the minivan didn't survive, and the kids with their father were treated at the scene. Mark was sentenced to 5 years in prison for reckless driving. Two vehicles collided in the tunnel, blocking the middle lane. The next seconds will show you why it's important to keep a safe distance and not drive over the speed limit. A BMW driver who was 28 years old was swerving through traffic before he lost control and crashed into the two vehicles. It caused a chain reaction as the roads were wet. Multiple drivers collided with each other. Around 10 vehicles were involved in this collision, but thankfully, nobody was seriously injured. Henry was a delivery driver, driving to his final destination before he could finally go home. Suddenly, an SUV lost control and started rolling over in the oncoming lane, crashing into a car ahead of Henry before it hit Henry's van as well. The SUV driver was driving at high speed, racing a Mercedes CLS AMG before they went over a little jump where they both lost control, but the SUV driver was not able to gain it back. The SUV hit a blue coupe, crushing it completely. The occupants in that vehicle passed away. Other drivers were thankfully safe, and the driver of the SUV was transported to the hospital for treatment before he got arrested for street racing. Patrick was having his regular day, but in a few seconds, everything would change. As he was approaching an intersection, he saw a three-vehicle collision. The Mercedes GLE driver failed to yield to an oncoming car and got hit by two approaching vehicles. The GLE driver was treated at the scene, but the driver of the EV SUV was heavily injured as he was not wearing a seatbelt. He had severe neck pain and fractures in his right arm. This situation will escalate in the worst way possible. In just a few seconds, everyone driving on this road will witness a terrible collision. A drunk driver in a gray Honda tried to overtake a blue Toyota Camry before he hit an oncoming Ford Transit, causing him to lose control and collide head-on with a Maserati. The drivers in the Ford Transit and Toyota Camry were okay, but you can't say that about the Honda and Maserati drivers. Both of them were transported to a hospital in very unstable conditions. Later, the Honda driver passed away, and the Maserati driver had cervical spine surgeries due to neck dislocations. Police Officer Max was chasing a stolen Ford GT. I guess we all can agree that a Ford GT in this red color with white stripes is a pretty rare vehicle to see, right? And in a police chase, that's a 1 in 10 million. But this chase wouldn't end well for the Ford GT. They were pursuing the suspect in pretty heavy traffic. Suddenly, the Ford GT driver hit a curb, damaging his front tire before he lost control and hit another vehicle. Both police cars blocked the car before they arrested a 35-year-old male. Officer Frankie was responding to a call about a car collision that happened 5 miles away from him. As he approached an intersection, something unexpected happened. A driver failed to see Frankie coming to the intersection and drove into his path. Frankie tried to avoid the vehicle, but he still hit it before he crashed into the bridge support. His vehicle got stuck between the bridge support and highway ramp. Thankfully, they managed to get him out of his vehicle before he was treated in an ambulance van. This collision happened in Rutas Argentinas, on a road full of vehicles coming to work. It was a typical Monday morning until a tragedy struck. A driver of the Ford Explorer fell asleep, drifted into the oncoming lane before he hit an oncoming BMW X6. The BMW X6 started spinning, hitting multiple vehicles before it came to a complete stop. It also had a crazy close call with a blue SUV that was overtaking other cars before he saw the spinning BMW X6 coming right at him. The BMW X6 driver was treated at the scene, but sadly, an old man in the brown sedan passed away after the impact. The crew in the Ford Explorer was okay, but the driver had a fractured leg. This video will show you why you shouldn't street race in heavy traffic. You will see a tragic car collision that changed the lives of everyone involved. A BMW M5 and Chrysler 300C were swerving through traffic before the BMW M5 lost control, flew into the oncoming lanes, and got hit by a semi-truck. The Chrysler also flew into the oncoming lanes after losing control due to contact with the M5, crashing head-on with the oncoming vehicles. The BMW M5 driver passed away, the driver in the Tahoe passed away, and the Chrysler 300C driver also passed away. Others had minor injuries. This clip is from Poland. This is what happens when you overestimate your driving skills and experience. A young teenager in his Honda overtook a vehicle before he entered a village at over 100 kilometers per hour. Suddenly, a vehicle backing up from a construction site blocked his path. He slammed on the brakes, but he was going too fast. He struck the vehicle before coming to a complete stop. The Honda driver was taken into custody after receiving proper treatment at the hospital, where he spent 2 days. He didn't use a seatbelt and hit the windshield with his head. The driver of the blue SUV was okay, thanks to the protection of his modern vehicle and his seatbelt.